is just basically the Instant Shakespeare Company. We've been around for 20 years, doing readings of all of Shakespeare's plays every year. And we started this season in libraries in various branches of the New York Public Library, and we look forward to getting back and doing in-person things. But since this is where we're at for a bit, we're now doing our Saturday readings on Zoom. And I think possibly one of the things that might just be useful, just for just to make things clear before we get started with everything. I don't know if Jennifer wants to say a few words first, but if each of you will would sort of say who you are and what role you're playing. I'm Paul Sugarman. I'm the founder of Instant Shakespeare Company, and I'll be reading the stage directions. I'll probably just read the entrances, as I shouldn't need to read the exits, because then you turn off your video and you aren't seen on the screen. I will stay like hidden while I'm reading the stage directions, and I can also like turn off people's videos if they don't, or mute them. But hopefully, I'm hoping the actors can deal with the things on themselves. So, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Also, Paul is also going to be filling in as a part of Dennis today. I'd just like to start out by thanking each and every one of you for your interest and participation today. Because we had so many of you, with the exceptions of the Lords and Pages, who are being played today by Mira Singer and Shuli Shinnar. Thank you guys. We were able to individually cast every single part. That's something I seldom see when I've done this. So I want to thank everybody for doing that. Today I'm playing Rosalind. I'm also the Playmaster, as Paul pointed out. And I want to go over one more protocol before we begin, which is that, and I've emailed you all about this, about how if an actor misses their cue, we give you a few seconds to answer, but then either Paul or I, and only us two, will prompt the understudy to take over for that speech. If that happens, we ask that the original actor let the understudy finish to that end of that speech and then give the role back to the original actor. That way, we can keep the play going because it does have a pace, but have somebody there to fill in for you. If everybody's able to follow along, then we won't even need to do that. And I'll let everybody now introduce themselves, and then we'll go into.
Just one thing. Can you somebody please text Virginia, because she keeps going in and off the screen, and I don't think she heard anything you said.
I heard it. I heard it. Let's go.
Yay! Hi, Virginia.
Going next. So, let's say Mary Lou to go next.
Oh, hello? Okay.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that. Eleanor, you want to introduce yourself and go from there?
Hello, I'm Eleanor Elizabeth Forman, and I will be playing Celia.
Welcome, Eleanor.
Thanks.
Virginia?
Hey, what? Hi, I'm Virginia, and I'm doing Audrey.
Okay. Is Meg with us?
I am.
Yeah.
Okay, Meg, do you want to introduce
Oh,
yourself?
Michael? Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm Mega. I'm Michael E. Gardner, and I'm playing Adam.
Welcome. Next person, how about Tony?
I'm Tony Scheinman. I'm playing the part of Touchstone the Clown.
Thank you. How about Miguel?
Hello, I am Miguel Fana, and I'll be playing the role of Beau.
Thank you. Julie. Julie, you're on mute, so we need you to unmute.
Gotcha. Yeah, hi, I'm Julie Kirshner. I'm playing Oliver.
Thank you. Jackie.
Oh, I'm Jacqueline Margolis, and I'm playing Senior Duke.
Thank you. Sadie. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Sadie Luttrell. I'm playing Amyens.
Welcome. I think you're a new member of our company. Okay, Evan.
Hi, I'm Evan. I'm playing Corin.
Thank you. Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark playing Charles the Wrestler. I've never done this sort of thing before. I'm surprised my computer can do it. I'm coming to you from a garage in Astoria. I'm sitting in a garage.
Welcome,
Cool.
Michael.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm playing Silvius.
Thank you. Brian.
I'm Brian. I'm playing Orlando.
Thank you. Let's say Mira.
Oh, so he's playing Orlando. I have to be aware of that because I
Can't hear you, Mira. You need to unmute.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Mira. I'm playing Lord 1 and Page 1.
Thank you.
Wow, that's some background you got there, Mira. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, and Angus.
Angus Hepburn from London, reading Jaques.
You're in London right now, Angus?
London.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he's playing Jaques.
Let's see. If Emerald, you are.
It's Meg. Sorry,
sorry.
It's my husband's account.
Okay. Okay. Veronica, are you with us?
Hi, I'm Veronica Dang, and I'm reading for Hyman, God of Marriage.
Okay. And
Hey, Jennifer, right quick. Do you want to have people change their names up there to their roles?
yes, that's a protocol of our company. You'll notice that, for example, in my name and some others of our names, we put the names of the characters we're playing in our names.
Oh.
Yourself, you go to the 3 dots in the upper right corner of your screen. You can find an option for renaming yourself.
Oh, where's that?
I'll have to do that.
Is this something that you're telling
Benefit of the viewer.
Yeah,
It's too hard. How do we got rid of
something you're required to do?
Upper right-hand corner of your little box.
Yeah, there are 3 dots.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say next to the mute, to the right of the mute button in the upper right-hand corner of the box in which you appear. If you click on that, you'll see a will pop up. The third option down is rename, and you can use that.
Oh, rename. Okay.
That appears in your screen.
So I should take out Michael Gardner and just write Adam?
And or just put it in front of your name or whatever. But yeah, that helps us know who's playing what.
I'm not seeing that option.
The option is if you hold your cursor over the box in which you appear, you should see the option, a button of 3 dots.
Okay, is this something that you're directing us that we must do?
I'm taking care of it for you, Eleanor. I've renamed yours, putting Celia.
I'm calling myself Adam Meg.
Fine.
Okay.
How do I do mine? What do I do? What do I do? It's Jackie. What do I do?
Upper right corner, 3 dots.
I got these.
Go there and click rename.
If we were all 7 years old, we could figure this out in 2 seconds.
It's the upper right corner of your personal box, to be clear.
Okay, it looks like also, Paul, we need to change Shuli.
Yep, I'm on it.
List.
Uh-oh, I just lost you guys. Damn. Oh, no. Hold on.
Okay, I think Shuli yeah.
Yeah, she should be. Yeah, there she is. Okay. She is playing the Lord and Page.
Hi. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
I gotta go like that again.
All right. And
Everybody. The one person I don't see with us is our second brother, hopefully, who is supposed to be missing.
Who?
Okay, there's
yeah.
Oliver? We don't have Oliver yet?
No,
Julie
is Oliver.
Julie is Oliver.
Yeah, I lost
Julie is Oliver.
Second brother is at the very last scene, so we don't need to worry.
Oh, okay. Oh, we got a long time.
Yeah, we also have Ken Lane here.
Who's playing Duke Frederick.
Yeah.
This is so much nicer. She's good.
Okay. Are we all ready to begin?
Okay, so let's begin, and let me just actually what I'm going to do. I can do this, so I'm going to just hi Ken. Glad you were able to make it. What we're, just to recap briefly, we want to have our, be muted and have our video off when we're not in the screen, so that in gallery view, people can see just the people who are in the scene. And so I'm going to start with just muting all. Then I'm going to unmute myself, and then Brian and Michael, if you'll also unmute you, then we'll begin, and everybody else should stop their video. Thank you, and welcome to. All right, just muted myself. No, I didn't mute. All right, I didn't mute myself. That's an interesting one. I do mute all, and it doesn't mute everybody. So welcome to As You Like It. Actus prima, scena prima. Enter Orlando and Adam.
As I remember, Adam, it was upon this fashion bequeathed me by will, but pour 1,000 crowns, and, as thou sayest, charge my brother on his blessing to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. My brother Jacques he keeps at school, and report speaks goldenly of his profit. For my part, he keeps me rustically at home, or, to speak more properly, stays me here at home unkept. For call you that keeping for a gentleman of my birth, that differs not from the stalling of an ox? His horses are bred better, for besides that, they are fair with their feeding, they are taught their manage, and to that end, riders dearly hired. But I, his brother, gain nothing under him but growth, for the which his animals on his dunghills are as much bound to him as I. Besides, this nothing that he so plentifully gives me, but something that nature gave me, his countenance seems to take from me. He lets me feed with his hinds, bars me the place of a brother, and as much as in him lies, minds my gentility with my education. This is it, Adam, that grieves me. And the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it, though yet I
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
I think he's frozen. He knows we're.
Hello?
Enter Oliver.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Go apart, Adam, and thou.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Oh, man. Hello?
What make you here?
Nothing. I am not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Marry, sir, I am helping you to mar that which God made, a poor unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry, sir, be better employed, and be naught at while.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them? What prodigal portion have I spent that I should come to such penury?
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well. Here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
Aye, better than him I am before knows me. I know you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood, you should know me. The courtesy of nations allows me you my better, in that you are the firstborn. But the same tradition takes not away my blood. Were there 20 brothers betwixt us, I have as much of my father in me as you, albeit I confess your coming before me is nearer to his reverence.
What boy?
Come, elder brother, you are too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Rowland de Boys. He was rail on thyself.
Can't hear you. Sweet masters, be patient for your father's remembrance. Be it accord.
Let me go, I say.
Can everyone else hear me?
You keep going in and out.
Oh, man. I will not till I please, and you shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding from me all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or give me the poor allottery my father left me by testament. With that, I will go by my fortunes.
And what wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent? Well, sir, get you in. I will not long be troubled with you. You shall have some part of your will. I pray you, leave me.
I will no longer offend you. Then becomes me for my good.
Get you with him, you old dog.
Is old dog my reward? Most true. I have lost my teeth in your service. God be with my old master. He would not have spoke such a word.
Is it even so? Begin you to grow upon me? I will physic your rankenness, and yet give no 1,000 crowns neither. Hola, Dennis.
Enter Dennis. Calls your worship?
Was not Charles the Duke's wrestler here to speak with me?
So please you, he is here at the door and importunes access to you.
Call him in. 'Twill be a good way, and tomorrow the wrestling is.
Enter Charles.
Good morrow to your worship.
Good, Monsieur Charles. What's the new news at the new court?
There's no news at the court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old Duke is banished by his younger brother, the new Duke, and 3 or 4 loving lords have put themselves into voluntary exile with him whose lands and revenues enrich the new Duke. Therefore, he gives them good leave to wander.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the Duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh, no, for the Duke's daughter, her chosen so loves her, being ever from their cradles bred together, that he would have followed her exile or have died to stay behind her. She is at the court, and no less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter, and never 2 ladies loved as they do.
Where will the old Duke live?
They say he is already in the forest of Arden, and many merry men with him. And there they live like the old Robin Hood of England. They say many young gentlemen flock to him every day, and fleet the time carelessly as they did in the golden world.
What, you wrestle tomorrow before the new Duke?
Very do I, sir. And I came to acquaint you with a matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath a disposition to come in disguised against me to try a fall. Tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquaint him well. Your brother is but young and tender, and for your love I would be loath to foil him, as I must for my own honor if he come in. Therefore, out of my love to you, I came hither to acquaint you with all, that either you might stay him from his intendment, or brook such disgrace well as he shall run into, in that it is the thing of his own search, and altogether against my will.
Charles, I thank thee for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I will most kindly requite. I had myself notice of my brother's purpose herein, and have by underhand means labored to dissuade him from it, but he is resolute. Charles, I'll tell thee, it is the stubbornest young fellow of France, full of ambition, an envious emulator of every man's good parts, a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore use thy discretion. I had as lief thou didst break his neck as his finger, and thou wert best look to it. For if thou dost him any slight disgrace, or if he do not mightily grace himself on thee, he will practice against thee by poison, entrap thee by some treacherous device, and never leave thee till he have tamed thy life by some indirect means or other. For I assure thee, and almost with tears I speak it, there is not one so young and so villainous this day living. I speak but brotherly of him, but should I anatomize him to thee as he is, I must blush and weep, and thou must look pale and wonder.
I am heartily glad I came hither to you. If he come tomorrow, hey, give him his payment. If he go alone again, he never wrestle for prize more. And so, God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Charles. Now will I stir this gamester. I hope I shall see an end of him, for my soul, yet I do not know why, hates nothing more than he. Yet he's gentle, never schooled and yet learned, full of noble device, of all sorts enchantingly beloved, and indeed so much in the heart of the world, and especially of my own people who know him best, that I am altogether misprized. But it shall not be long, this wrestler shall clear all, nothing remains, but that I kindle the boy thither, which now I'll go about.
Scena secunda. Enter Rosalind and Celia.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my coz, be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of. And would you yet were merrier, unless you could teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me how to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Herein I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I love thee. If my husband, thy banished father, had banished thy husband, thy uncle, the Duke, my father, so thou hast been with me still, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of thy love to me were so righteously tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have, and truly when he dies thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honor I will. And when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
Henceforth I will, coz, and devise sports. Let me see. What think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee do, to make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport neither, than with safety of a pure blush thou mayst in honor come off again.
What shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and mock the good housewife, Fortune, from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
Well, we could do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced, and the bountiful blind woman does most mistake in her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favoredly.
Nay, now thou goes from Fortune's office to Nature's. It's a gift of the world, not in the lineaments of nature.
Enter Clown.
No, when nature hath made a fair creature, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us wit to flout at fortune, hath not fortune sent in this fool to cut off the argument?
Indeed, there's fortune too hard for nature. When fortune makes nature's natural, the cutter off of nature's wit.
Peradventure this is not fortune's work neither, but nature's, who perceiveth our natural wits too dull to reason of such goddesses, hath sent this natural for our whetstone, for always the dullness of the fool is the whetstone of the wits. How now, wit? Whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come ahead to your father's.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honor, but I was bid to come for you.
Where learned you that, O fool?
Of a certain knight that swore by his honor they were good pancakes, and then swore by his honor that the mustard was naught. Now I'll stand to it. The pancakes were naught, and the mustard was good, yet was not the knight forsworn.
How prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge?
Marry, now unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both there, stroke your chins, and swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear by that which is not, then are you not forsworn. No more was this knight forsworn for swearing by his honor, for he never had any. Or if he had sworn it away before ever he saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Prithee, who is that thou meanest?
One that old Frederick your father loves.
My father's love is enough to honor him enough. Speak no more of him. You'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
Ah, the more pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
By my trust, thou sayest true. For since the little wit that fools have with silence, the wise men have makes a great show. Here comes Monsieur the Beau.
Enter the Beau.
With his mouth full of news.
Which he will put on us as pigeons feed their young.
Then shall we be news-crammed.
All the better, we shall be the more marketable. Bonjour, monsieur. What's the news?
Fair princess. Fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport? Of what color?
What color, madame? How shall I answer you?
As wit and fortune will.
Or as the destinies decree.
Well said. That was laid on with a trowel.
Nay, if I keep not my rank.
And thou losest thy old smell.
You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you of good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of.
Yet tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it please your ladyships, you may see the end, for the best is yet to do, and here, where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Well, the beginning that is dead and buried.
There comes an old man and his 3 sons.
I could match this beginning with an old tale.
3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence.
With bills on their necks, be it known unto all men.
The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him and broke 3 of his ribs, and that there is little hope of life in him. So he served the 2nd, and so the 3rd. Yonder they lie, the poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over them, that all the beholders take his part with weeping.
Alas.
But what is the sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost?
Why, this is that I speak of.
Thus men may grow wiser every day. 'Tis the first that ever I heard that breaking of ribs was sport for ladies.
Or I promise thee.
But is there any else longs to see this broken music in his sides? Is there yet another dotes upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here, for here is place appointed for the wrestling, and they are ready to perform it.
Yonder sure they are coming. Let us now stay and see it.
Come on, put me on camera. Come on. Come on. Come on, since the youth will not be entreated. Oh.
Keep going. There you are, we see you.
There he is.
Come on, since the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madame.
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin? Are you brought hither to see the wrestling?
I'm a liege, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There are such odds in the men. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Monsieur le Beau.
Do so, I'll not be by.
Monsieur the challenger, the princess calls for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess. He is the general challenger. I come in as others do, to try with him the strength of my youth.
Young gentleman, your spirits are too bold for your years. You've seen cruel proof of this man's strength. If you saw yourself with your eyes or knew yourself with your judgment, the fear of your adventure would counsel you to a more equal enterprise. We pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir. Your reputation shall not therefore be misprized. We will make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein, if I be foiled, there is but one shamed that was never gracious. If killed, but one dead that is willing to be so. I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me. The world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place, which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And mine to eke out hers.
Very well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desires be with you.
Come, where is this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his Mother Earth?
Ready, sir, but his will hath it in a more modest working.
You shall try but one fall.
No, I warrant your grace, you shall not entreat him to a second, that hath so might-like persuaded him from a first.
You mean to mock me after. You should not have mocked me before, but come your ways.
Now, Hercules, be that speedy young man.
I would I were invisible to catch the strong fellow by the leg.
Wrestle!
Oh, excellent young man.
If I had a thunderbolt in mine eye, I can tell who should down.
Soldier!
No more, no more.
Orlando?
Orlando seems to have frozen again. Orlando, if you could repeat, yes, I beseech you.
Yes, I beseech your grace. I am not yet well. Breathe.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Bois.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with this deed hadst thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. I would thou hadst told me of another father.
Were I my father, cuz, would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
I love Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Had I known this young man his son, I should have given him tears unto entreaties, ere he thus adventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved, if you do keep your promises in love, but as justly as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of 6 with fortune that could give more, but that our hand lacks means. Shall we go, cuz?
Aye, fare you well, fair gentleman.
Can I not say, I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down.
Frozen up again.
A mere lifeless block indeed.
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you, fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged confidence.
Enter the Beau.
Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown, or Charles, or something weaker masters thee.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved high commendation, true applause, and love. Yet such is now the Duke's condition, that he misconstrues all that you have done. The Duke is humorous. What he is indeed more suits to you to conceive than I to speak of.
I thank you, sir, and pray you tell me this. Which of the two was daughter of the Duke that was here at the wrestling?
Neither his daughter, if we judge by manners, but yet indeed the taller is his daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duke, and here detained by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that of this late Duke hath ta'en displeasure against his gentle niece, grounded upon no other argument, but that the people praise her for her virtues, and pity her for her good father's sake. And on my life, his malice against the lady will sodanely break forth. Sir, you farewell. Hereafter, in better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bounden to your will, to you. Fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from tyrant Duke unto a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind.
Scene Tertius. Enter Celia and Rosalind.
Why, cousin? Why, Rosalind? Cupid have mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
No, thy words are too precious to be cast away upon curs. Throw some of them at me. Come lame me with reasons.
Then there were two cousins laid up, when the one should be lame with reasons and the other mad without any.
But is this all for your father?
No, some of it is from my child's father.
Ah.
Oh, how full of briars is this working day world.
They are but burrs, cousin, thrown upon thee in holiday foolery. If we walk not in the trodden paths, our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake them off my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Hem them away.
Would try if I could cry him and have him.
Come, come, wrestle with thy affections.
Oh, I take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Oh, a good wish upon you. You will try in time, in despite of a fall. But turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible, on such a sudden, you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Roland's youngest son?
Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Does it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Orlando.
No, faith. Hate him not for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that, and do you love him because I do? Look, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Duke Frederick?
I start my video.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin. Here we go. Within these 10 days, if that thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace. Let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence, or have acquaintance with mine own desires, if that I do not dream, or be not frantic, as I do trust I am not, then, dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors. If their purgation did consist in words, they are as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust can be a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihoods depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter, there's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor, then good my liege. Mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Aye, Celia, we stayed her for your sake, else had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young that time to value her, but now I know her. If she be a traitor, why so am I. We still have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, eat together, and wheresoever we went, like Juno's swans, still we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee, and her smoothness, her very silence and her patience speak to the people and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom, which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool. You, niece, provide yourself If you outstay the time upon mine honor and the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosaline, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Prithee be cheerful. Know'st thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosaline lacks then the love which teacheth thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No, let my father seek another heir. Therefore, devise with me how we may fly, whither to go, and what to bear with us. And do not seek to take your change upon you, to bear your griefs yourself, and leave me out. For by this heaven, now at our sorrow's pale, say what thou canst. I'll go along with thee.
Why? Whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Lass, what danger will it be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you, so shall we pass along, and never stir assailants.
Were it not better, because that I am more than common tall, that I did suit me all points like a man, a gallant curtle axe upon my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart, lie there what hidden woman's fears that swill. We'll have a swashing and a marshal outside, as many other managed cowards have, that do not face it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Joe's own page, and therefore I'll look you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Eleanor.
Cousin, what will you say to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travail?
He'll go along o'er the whole wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away and get our jewels and our wealth together. Devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now, go in we content to liberty, and not to banishment.
Actus secundus sina prima. Enter Duke Senior, Amyens, and 2 or 3 lords like foresters.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we not the penalty of Adam, the season's difference, as the icy fang, a churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say this is no flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brook, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
I would not change it. Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Oh, come, shall we go and kill us venison? And yet it irks me, the poor dappled fools, being native burglars of this desert city, should in their own confines with forked heads have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord, the melancholy Jaques grieves at that, and in that kind swears you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you. Today my lord of Amyens and myself did steal behind him as he lay along under an oak, whose antique root peeps out upon the brook that brawls along the wood, To the which we placed a poor sequestered stag that from the hunter's aim had ta'en a heart, did come to languish. And indeed, my lord, the wretched animal heaved forth such groans that their discharge did stretch his leathern coat almost to bursting, and the big round tears coursed one another down his innocent nose in piteous chase. And thus the hairy fool, much marked of the melancholy Jaques, stood on the extremest verge of the swiftest brook, augmenting it with tears.
But what said Jaques? Did he not moralize this spectacle?
Oh, yes, into 1,000 similes. First, for his weeping into the needless stream. Poor dear, quoth he, thou makest a testament as worldlings do, giving thy sum of more to that which hath too much. Then being there alone, left in abandon of his velvet friend. 'Tis right, quoth he, thus misery doth part the flux of company. Anon a careless herd full of the pasture jumps along by him, and never stays to greet him. And quoth Jaques, sweep on, ye fat and greasy citizens, 'tis just the fashion. Wherefore do you look upon that poor and broken bankrupt there? Thus most invectively he pierces through the body of court, city, court, country, yet, and out of our life, swearing that we are mere usurpers, tyrants, and what's worth, to fright the animals, and to kill them up in their assigned and native dwelling place.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
Oh, show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then it's full of matter.
I'll bring you to him straight.
Sina Secunda, enter Duke Frederick with lords. Duke Frederick. Well, Duke Frederick may be having some technical difficulties trying to unmute him now. So this is one of the other realities of Zoom, is when people's things just don't work just when they need them to work. Duke Frederick, well, can it be possible that no man saw them? It cannot be. Some villains of my court are of consent and sufferance in this.
Lo, I cannot hear of any that did see her. Ladies, her attendants of her chamber, saw her abed, and in the morning early they found the bed untreasured of their mistress.
My lord, the roynish clown at whom so oft your grace was wont to laugh is also missing. Hesperia, the princess's gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly o'erheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles, and she believes wherever they are gone that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring his brother to me. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly, and let not search an inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways.
Exeunt Sina Tertia, enter Orlando and Adam.
Who's there?
Adam seems to be muted, and
he's muted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, now okay, so you can hear and see me now? Hello?
yes, we can, Michael. Please proceed.
Okay, well, I couldn't hear and see you. Okay, can we start again? Thanks.
Now we've lost Orlando.
That's why, yeah.
He's frozen. Who's there?
What, my young master? Ah, gentle master. Ah, sweet master. Ah, your memory of old Roland. Why, what makes you here? Why are you virtuous? Why do people love you? And wherefore are you gentle, strong, and valiant? Why would you be so fond to overcome the body prizer of the humorous Duke? Your praises come too swiftly home before you. No, you not, master. To some kind of men, their graces serve them but as enemies, no more to yours. Your virtues, gentle master, are sanctified and holy traitors to you. Ah, what a world is this, for what is calmly envenoms him that bears it.
Why, what's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth. Come not within these doors. Within this roof, the enemy of all your graces lives. Your brother, no brother, yet the son, yet not the son, I will not call him son. Of him I was about to call his father. Hath heard your praises, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. If he fails of that, he will have other means to cut you off. I overheard him, and his practices. This is no place. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it, fear it, do not enter it.
Why, whether, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whether, so you come not here.
What, wouldst thou have me go and beg my food? Or with a base and boisterous sword enforce a thievish living on the common road? This I must do, or not what to do. Yet this I will not do. Do how I can. I rather will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns. The thrifty hire I saved under your father, which I did store to be my foster nurse when service should in my old limbs lie lame and unregarded age in corners thrown. Take that. And he that doth the ravens feed, yea, providently caters for the sparrow, be comfort for my age. Here's the gold. All this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty. For in my youth I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors in my blood, nor did with an unbashful forehead woo the means of weakness and debility. Therefore my age is as a lusty winter, frosty but kindly. Let me go with you. I'll do the services of a younger man in all your businesses and necessities.
Oh, good old man, how well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world. When service sweat for duty, not for meed, thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion, and having that do choke their service up, even with the having. It is not so with thee, but, poor old man, thou prunest a rotten tree that cannot so much as a blossom yield, in lieu of all thy pains and husbandry. But come thy ways, we'll go along together, and ere we have thy youthful wages spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty. From 17 years till now, almost 80 have died, but now live here no more. 17 years many their fortunes seek, but 80 is too late a week. Yet fortune cannot recommence me better than to die well, and not my master's debtor.
Sine quarta. Enter Rosalind for Ganymede, Celia for Eleanor, and Clown, alias Touchstone.
Jupiter, how merry are my spirits?
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I could find in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel. I like a woman. I must comfort the weaker vessel as doublet and hose ought to show as self-courageous petticoat. Give her courage, good Aliena.
I pray you bear with thee. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I had rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye. Now am I in Arden. The more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place. But travelers must be content.
Enter Corin and Silvius.
Aye, be so good, Touchstone. Look you, who comes here? A young man and an old in solemn talk.
That is the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that now knewest how I do love her.
I partly guess, for I have loved ere now.
No, Corin, being old, thou canst not guess. Though in thy youth thou wast as true a lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, as sure I think did never man love so, how many actions and most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou didst then ne'er love so heartily. If thou rememberedst not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat as I do now, wearying thy hearer in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe!
Alas, poor shepherd searching of their wood. I have by hard adventure found mine own.
And I mine. I remember when I was in love, I broke my sword upon a stone and bid him, "Take that for coming a night to Jane's smile." And I remember the kissing of her battler and the cow's dugs that her pretty chopped hands had milked. And I remember the wooing of a peace god instead of her, from whom I took 2 cods, and giving her them again, said with weeping tears, "Wear these for my sake." We that are true lovers run into strange capers, but as all is mortal in nature, so is all nature in love mortal in folly.
Thou speakest wiser than thou art ware of.
Nay, I shall ne'er be ware of mine own wit till I break my shins against it.
Jove, Jove, this shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine, but it grows something stale with me.
I pray you, one of you question yond man if he for gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death.
Hello, you clown!
He's full, he's not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
Your betters, sir.
Else are they very wretched.
Peace, I say. Good even to your friend.
And to you, gentle sir, and you all.
I pray thee, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place by entertainment, that's where we may rest ourselves and feed. There's a young maid with travail, much oppressed, and faints for succor.
Fair sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than mine own, my fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I am shepherd to another man, and do not shear the fleeces that I graze. My master is of churlish disposition, and little reeks to find way to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality. Besides his coat, his flocks and bounds of feed are now on sale, and at our sheepcote now, by reason of his absence, there is nothing that you will feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice most welcome you shall be.
What is he that shall buy his flock and pasture?
That young swain that you saw here but ere while, that little cares for buying a thing.
I pray thee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt pay it for it of us.
And we will mend thy wages. I like this place, and willingly would waste my time in it.
Assuredly the thing is to be sold. Go with me, if you like upon report, then soil the profit and this kind of life. I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
Exeunt. Enter Amyens, Jaques, and others.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
More, more, I prithee more.
It will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jaques.
I thank it. More, I prithee more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Come, more, another stanza. I will call you them stanzas?
What you will, Monsieur Jaques.
I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Well then, if ever I thank any man, I'll thank you. But that they call competent is like the encounter of two dog apes. When a man thanks me heartily, methinks I have given him a penny, and he renders me the beggarly thanks. Come, sing, and you that will not, hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song. Sirs, cover the while. The Duke will drink under this tree. He hath been all this day to look you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as he, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Come, warble, come.
Who doth ambition shun and loves to live its sun, seeking the food he eats and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither, here shall he see no enemy.
I'll give you a verse to this note that I made yesterday in despite of my invention.
And I'll sing it.
Now thus it goes. If it do come to pass, you?
That any man turn as, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please. Duke dame, Duke dame, Duke dame, here shall he seek roseful does he, and if he will come to me. What's the Duke dame?
'Tis a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. I'll go sleep if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
And I'll go seek the Duke. His banquet is prepared.
Scene sexta, enter Orlando and Adam.
Dear master, I can go no farther. I die for food. Here, lie I down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
Why, how now, Adam? No greater heart in thee. Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I will either be food for it, or bring it for food to thee. Thy conceit is nearer death than thy powers. For my sake, be comfortable. Hold death a while at the arm's end. I will here be with thee presently. And if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said, thou look'st cheerly, and I'll be with thee quickly. Yet thou liest in the bleak air. Come, I will bear thee to some shelter, and thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner. If there live anything in this desert, cheerly, good Adam.
Exeunt. Scena septima, enter Duke Senior and lords like outlaws.
Hello?
Enter Duke Senior, who is currently muted.
Unmute now, I forgot. Okay. I think he be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like a man.
Lord, you're muted.
My lord, he is but even now gone hence. Here he was merry, hearing of a song.
If he, compact of drawers, grow musical, we shall have shortly discord in the spheres. Go seek him, tell him I would speak with him.
Enter Jaques.
He saves my labor by his own approach.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this that your poor friends must woo your company? What, you look merrily.
A fool! A fool! I met a fool in the forest, a motley fool, a miserable world. As I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun, and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms, in good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he, call me not fool, till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke and looked at it, looking on it with lacklustre eyes, says very wisely, it is 10 o'clock. Thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and after 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we ripe and ripe. And then from hour to hour we rot and rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like chanticleer, that fools should be so deep contemplative, that I did laugh, sans intermission, an hour by his dial. O noble fool, a worthy fool, motley's the only weir.
What fool is this?
Oh, worthy fool, one that hath been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places crammed with observation, which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool! I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Oh, thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit, provided that you weed your better judgments of all opinion that grows rank in them, that I am wise. I must have liberty withal as large a charter as the wind to blow on whom I please, for so fools have, and they that are most galled with my folly, they most must laugh. And why, sir, must they so? The why is plain, as way to parish church, he that a fool doth very wisely hit, doth very foolishly, although he smart some senseless of the bob. If not, the wise man folly is anathemized, even by the squandering glances of the fool. Invest me in my motley. Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, as they will patiently receive my medicine.
Oh, fire thee, I can tell what thou wouldst do.
What? For a counter would I do, but could?
Most mischievous foul sin and chiding sin, for thou thyself hast been a libertine, as sensual as the brutest thing itself, and all the embossed sores and headed evils that thou with license of free foot hast caught, which thou disgorge into the general world.
Why, who cries out on pride that can therein tax any private party? Doth it not flow as hugely as the sea, till that the weary very means do ebb? What woman in the city do I name, when that I say the city woman bears the cost of princes on unworthy shoulders? Who can come in and say that I mean her, when such a one as she, such is her neighbor? Or what is he of basest function that says his bravery is not on my cost, thinking that I mean him? But therein suits his folly to the metal of my speech. There then, how then, what then, let me see wherein my tongue hath wronged him. If it do him right, then he hath wronged himself. If he be free, why then my taxing like a wild goose flies, unclaimed of any man. No, but who comes here?
Enter Orlando.
Forbear, and eat no more.
Why, I have eaten none yet.
Nor shalt not, till necessity be served.
What kind should this cock come off?
Art thou thus bolden, man, by thy distress, or else a rude despiser of good manners, that in chivalry thou seemest so empty?
You touched my vein at first, the thorny point of bare distress hath tamed from me the show of smooth civility. Yet am I in inland bred, and know some nurture. But forbear, I say, he dies that touches any of this fruit, till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason. I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force moves us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently? Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern commandment. But whate'er you are, that in this desert inaccessible, under the shade of melancholy boughs, I loose and neglect the creeping hours of time. If ever you have looked upon better days, if ever been where bells have knolled to church, if ever sate any good man's feast, if ever from your eyelids wept a tear, and know what 'tis to pity and be pitied. Let gentleness be my strong enforcement be, in the which hope I blush and hide my sword.
True is it that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been knolled to church, and sat at good men's feast and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered. And therefore sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have, that to your wanting may be ministered.
Then but forbear your food a little while. Whiles, like a doe, I go to find my fawn, and give it food. There is an old poor man, who after me hath many a weary step, limped in pure love, till he be first sufficed, oppressed with two weak evils, age and hunger. I will not touch a bit.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
I thank ye, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. One man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. First the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, then the whining schoolboy with his satchel, shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. And a soldier, full of strange oaths, bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. Then the justice, in fair round belly with good capon lined, with eyes severe, and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank and his big manly voice, turning again towards childish treble pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Enter Orlando with
Welcome. Set down your venerable burden and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
So how'd you need? I can scarce speak to say thank you for myself.
Welcome, Fortu. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music and good cousin sing.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen, because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Hi-ho, sing hi-ho, onto the green holly. Most friendship is fading, most loving mere folly. The hi-ho, the holly, this life is most jolly. Freeze, freeze, thou bitter sky, that dost not bite so nigh, as benefits forgot. Though thou the waters warp, thy sting is not so sharp, as friend remembered not. Hi-ho, sing!
If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, and you have whispered faithfully you were, and as mine eyes doth his effigies witness, most truly limited in living in your face, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. The residue of your fortune go to my cave and tell me. Good old man, thou art right welcome as thy master is. Support him by the arm. Give me your hand and let me all your fortunes understand.
Exeunt. Actus tertius, scena prima. Enter Duke Frederick, lords, and Oliver.
Not see him since? Sir, that cannot be.
Oh my.
But were I not the better part made mercy, I should not seek an absent argument of my revenge thou. But look to it. Find out thy brother wheresoe'er he is, seek him with candle. Bring him dead or living within this 12-month, or turn thou no more to seek a living in our territory. Thy lands and all things that thou dost call thine worth seizure do we seize into our hands, till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou. Well, push him out of doors, and let my officers of such a nature make an extent upon his house and lands. Do this expediently, and turn him going.
Exeunt. Scena secunda. Enter Orlando.
Hang there my verse, in witness of my love. And thou thrice-crowned queen of night survey, with thy chaste eye, from thy pale sphere above, thy huntress' name, that my full life doth sway. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she.
Exit. Enter Corin and Clown.
And how like you this shepherd's life, Mr. Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is naught. In respect that it is solitary, I like it very well. But in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. Now, in respect that it is in the fields, it pleases me well. But in respect it is not in the court, it is tedious. As it is a spare life, look you, it fits my humor very well. But as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more, but that I know the more one sickens, the worse at ease he is, and that he that wants money, mean and content, is without 3 good friends. That the propriety of rain is to wet, and fire to burn, that good pasture makes fat sheep, and that great cause of the night is lack of sun, and that he that hath learned no wit by nature nor art may complain of good breeding, or comes of a very dull kindred.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Wast ever in court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Oh, then thou art damned.
May I hope.
Oh, truly thou art damned, like an ill-roasted egg all on one side.
For not being at court? Your reason?
Why, if thou wast never at court, thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, then thy manners must be wickedness. And wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. Those are good manners at the court. Those that are good manners at the court are as ridiculous in the country as the behavior of the country is most mockable at the court. You told me you salute not at the court, but you kiss your hands. That courtesy would be uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance. Briefly come. Instance.
Why, we are still handling our ewes, and their fells, you know, are greasy.
Why, do not your courtiers' hands sweat? And is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow, shallow. A better instance, I say.
Besides, our hands are hard.
Your lips will feel them the sooner. Shallow again. A more sounder instance. Come.
And they are often tarred over with the surgery of our sheep, and would you have us kiss tar? The courtier's hands are perfumed with civet.
Most shallow man, thou worm's meat in respect of a good piece of flesh indeed. Learn of the wise and perpend. Civet is of a baser birth than tar, the very uncleanly flux of a cat. In the instant, shepherd.
Wilt thou rest down?
No.
Sorry, I lost my place there.
Mend the instant, shepherd.
Sorry, 1 second.
Of too courtly a wit.
Thou hast too sorry. Thou hast too courtly a wit for me, I'll rest.
Wilt thou rest damned? God help thee, shallow man. God make incision in thee. Thou art raw.
Sir, I am a true laborer. I earn that I eat, get that I wear, owe no man hate, envy no man's happiness, glad of other men's good content with my harm, and the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suck.
Ooh, that is another simple sin in you. To bring the ewes and the rams together, and to offer to get your living by the copulation of cattle, to be bored to a bellwether, and betray a she-lamb of a 12-month to a crooked-pitted old cuckoldy ram, out of all reasonable match? Ooh, if thou beest not damned for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds. I cannot see else how thou shouldst escape.
Here comes young Mr. Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
Enter Rosalind.
From the east to western end, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lend are but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind but the fair of Rosalind.
I'll rhyme you so, 8 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping hours accepted. It is the right butterwoman's rank to market.
Out, fool.
For a taste. If a doe do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosalind. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosalind. Wintered garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. They that reap must sheaf and bind, then to cart with Rosalind. Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is Rosalind. He that sweetest rose will find, must find love's prick and Rosalind. This is the very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Peace, you dull fool. I found them on a tree.
Truly the tree yields bad fruit.
I'll graph it with you, and then I shall graph it with a medlar. Then it will be the earliest fruit of the country. You'll be rotten ere you be half right, and that's the right virtue of the meddler.
You have said, but whether wisely or no, let the forest judge.
Enter Celia with a writing.
Peace, here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Why should this desert be, for it is unpeopled? No. Tongues I'll hang on every tree that shall civil saying show. Somehow brief the life of man runs his erring pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in his sum of age, some of violated vows twixt the souls of friend and friend, but upon the fairest boughs, or at every sentence end, will I Rosalind write, teaching all that read to know the quintessence of every sprite heaven would in little show. Therefore, heaven nature charged that one body should be filled with all graces wide and large. Nature presently distilled Helen's cheek, but not her heart, Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part, sad Lucretia's modesty. Thus Rosalind of many parts by heavenly synod was devised, of many faces, eyes, and hearts, to have the touches dearest prized. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I to live and die her slave.
Oh, most gentle Jupiter, what tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal, and never cried. Have patience, good people.
How now? Back, friends. Shepherd, go off a little. Go with him, sirrah.
Come, shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat, though not with bag and baggage, yet with scrip and scrippage.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes, I heard them all, and more too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear.
That's no matter. The feet might bear the verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
But didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before you came. But look here what I found on a palm tree. I was never so berhymed since Pythagoras' time that I was an Irish rat. I can hardly remember.
Trow you who hath done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck? Change you color?
I prithee, who?
Oh, Lord, Lord, it is a hard matter for friends to meet, but mountains may be removed with earthquakes, and so encounter.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful. And after that, out of all hooping.
Good, my complexion. Dost thou think, though I in comparison like a man, I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? One to delay more is a south sea of discovery. I prithee tell me, who is it quickly, and speak apace? I would thou couldst stammer, that thou mightst power this concealed man out of thy mouth, as wine comes out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either once or none at all. I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, and I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly.
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
My God will some more if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando that tripped up the wrestler's heels, and your heart both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak, sad brow, and true maid.
In faith, cause 'tis he.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Master day, what shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did even that saw him? What said he? How looked he? Where went he? What makes he here? Did he ask for me? Makes he? How pardon with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me gargantuous mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this age's size. To say aye and no to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
Does he know that I am in this forest in a man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
It is as easy to count atomies as to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him, and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Joe's tree when it drops forth fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he stretched along like a wounded knight.
It's pity to see such a sight, and well becomes the ground.
Cry holla to the tongue, I prithee. It curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous. It comes to kill my heart.
I would sing my song without a burden. Thou bring'st me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman? When I think I must speak. Sweet, say on.
Enter Orlando and Jaques.
You bring me out. Soft. Comes he not here?
Is he? Slink by and note him.
I thank you for your company. With good faith, I had as lief have been myself alone.
And so had I. But yet for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
God bar you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
But you are full of pretty answers. Have you not been acquainted with goldsmiths' wives and conned out of rings?
Not so, but I answer you right painted close, from whence you have studied your questions.
Oh, you have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atalanta's heels. Will you sit down with me, and we two will rail against our mistress the world and all our misery.
I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change. For your best virtue, I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him.
There shall I see mine own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I am glad of your departure. Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
Speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit play the knave with him. You hear, Forster?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is the clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
And there is no true lover in the forest. Every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. Time gambles with all, and who time trots with all. Time gallops with all, and who he stands still with all.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Mary, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a se'nnight, so hard that it seems the length of 7 years.
Who ambles time withal?
The priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. the one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful youth learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows. For though he go as softly as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation. For they sleep between term and term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
But this shepherd is my sister. Here, the skirts of the forest like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so of many, but indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well. But there I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offenses as he hath generally taxed our whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
Principle, they were all like one another as halfpence are, every one fault seeming monstrous, till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee, recount some of them.
No, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a across the forest that abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks. Hangs oaths upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth, defying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaked. I pray you would tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you art not prisoner.
What were his marks?
Only in cheek, which you have not. A blue eye and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard neglected, which you have not. I pardon you for that. For simply your having a beard as a younger brother's revenue, then your hood should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. Man, you are rather point device in your accoutrement as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Ye believe it? You may as soon make her that you love believe it, which I warrant she is apter to do, than to confess she does. That is one of the points in the which women still give the lie to their consciences. Sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madness do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Did I profess curing it by counsel?
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. Was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing, and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles. For every passion something, and for no passion surely anything. Boys and women are, for the most part, cattle of this color. Would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, now spit at him. Consider from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness. Was spread the full stream of the world and to live in a nook merely monastic. And thus I cured him. And this way will I take upon me to wash her liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you if you would become me, Rosalind, and come every day to my coat and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go?
Excellent. Before we continue, we're just going to take a brief break, just a little more than 5 minutes. So we'll start again at 3:10. Thank you for Audrey and Clown and Jaques being ready to go on. And so we'll do that. Anybody, if they have any questions or things while we're here, I'm open to them. And yeah, we'll be getting started in just a few minutes again. Thank you so much, and thank you for the attendees for your patience as we work through these things in Zoom. But generally, I think people have done a good job of turning themselves on and off and muting themselves. So thank you.
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
I can unmute myself, but when my scene comes up, I can't figure out how to unblock my face again.
Well, because what's happened is don't you have like a video thing there? Because what's happened is that when you leave the scene, you haven't turned off your video. So I've been turning it off for you.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so to make sure, because in other words, to get back to my screen to do that, I have to go off. It takes me a moment to do that. So I've been letting you do that. So if you turn it off for me, just go ahead and turn it on for me too.
Okay. Well,
it'll ask me afterwards, but I'd rather you just do it. I'm just doing William. That's all.
Yep. Gotcha.
That's all I'm doing left. I'm dead otherwise.
Yeah, this is one of the big questions of what happens to Adam.
Wait a minute though. When the second brother comes in later and talks about how the other brother met some old man.
Actually, it was the Duke who met the old hermit. And
right, the Duke met the old hermit. Could that have been Adam?
No, I don't think so.
No, some people have said that could be Oliver Martext.
Right, but I thought maybe it was Adam that he met.
Actually, I've seen a couple of productions in which Adam dies shortly after he enters the scene with Orlando.
Right. Well, when Jaques, it's actually very touching when Jaques ends that whole 7 ages of man, and them two enter. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is, and it is an interesting thing, and I think it's also sort of from a practical standpoint of production of As You Like It that I was in. We had the same actor playing Adam and Corin, and it's like so Corin has more to do in the second half. So
well, that's what I was going to do. Well, in when we do we're going to do another one. Vicky was when we finally get together physical bodies again. Mm-hmm. Vicky was Playmaster, and so she asked me what I want to do. I said, well, a great track is Adam how do I say his name? Beau? I never did in French like Miguel did. Beau. I never really did in French, but I love what Miguel did. And Corin, those three together. And then I used to do the younger brother too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. With I think there was a production at the Public Theater with Bryce Dallas Howard as Rosalind that they did with like 5 actors. Mm-hmm. I didn't actually see that one, but I read about it. And also actors from the London stage, which used to be known as Actor. They also do like 5 actor versions of the plays.
Yeah, didn't they do a Cymbeline in New York not too long ago? I read about it in the Living Shakespeare thing, a book about it. I think it was a group of maybe 6 actors did Cymbeline.
Well, there was the one that the Globe brought about maybe 10 years ago with Mark Rylance that I think was with 6 actors and 2 musicians, if I recall correctly, which was really funny. I mean, especially for the final scene of Cymbeline where you have, I mean, the people going back and forth because Mark Rylance was playing Posthumus and Cloten and the doctor. And I mean, of course, Clotton's dead by then. Oh, sorry, spoiler. But as so Mark Rylance would be there as Posthumus, and then he'd go and do the stuff as Cornelius. And the thing is that is, I think, a lot of times can be very effective if the actor is clear in sort of distinguishing the character.
Hamish in the park. Hamish did. You saw the one they did in the park a few summers ago. Hamish did both Clotton and Posthumus. He didn't do the doctor, but he did both parts.
Yeah, no, that was really a very good production that I thought got sort of unfairly critically slammed, because also I mean, I didn't know as the queen, and also as Belarius. I mean, she was
loved it. Yes,
and Lily Rabe as Imogen. It was I liked that one a lot. But
so did I, and it's Imogen to me is an actress of great courage and dedication to take that role on, because it has so many pitfalls. For example, no matter how honest she plays that scene, and she was good. I was crying for her. We all know it's Clotton.
Yeah.
He's crying, so she's got that to work against, which it's also kind of comical that he's had his head chopped off. And, because he asked for it, really. And the people behind me were laughing. And I wasn't. I was with her, you know what I mean, as an actor. But it's a difficult scene, for an actress, because the audience knows it's Clotton. So we don't really feel, you know what I mean? She still has to pull us in, despite the fact that we all know what she doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And she did it. But the people behind me were laughing.
Yeah, well, there is, I mean, that's the thing, is that there's a lot of humor in Shakespeare, especially in the tragedies as well.
Well, I consider Cymbeline a comedy, actually. What's so tragic about it? They call it a tragedy, right?
Yes, it is a tragedy. It is the last play in the folio, and so it is, yeah.
Yeah, but who dies in it? The Queen and Clotton. Big deal. Yeah. I mean, they were both horrible people,
Yeah, well, I mean, most modern sort of put it in this new category that wasn't in the first folio of romances, where they also put like The Tempest and Pericles, which wasn't even in the folio, and Two Noble Kinsmen. Anyway, so it's 3:10. So now I think we're mostly back, except we need our Audrey. Audrey, are you there? So we will.
Audrey's gone.
Yeah. Let's see. We are. So let's see. Okay. So, anyways, we're still all right. We have Audrey, and so without further ado, we will resume with Sina Tertia. Enter Clown, Audrey, and Jaques.
Come apace, good Audrey. I will fetch up your goats, Audrey. And how, Audrey? Am I the man yet? Doth my simple feature content you?
Your features, Lord warrant us. What features?
I am here with thee and thy goats, as the most capricious poet honest Ovid was among the Goths.
Oh, knowledge ill-inhabited, worse than Jove in a thatched house.
When a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's good wits seconded with the forward child understanding, it strikes a man more dead than a great reckoning in a little room. Truly I would the gods had made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest, indeed, in word? Is it a true thing?
No, truly, for the truest poetry is the most feigning, and lovers are given to poetry, and what they swear in poetry may be said as lovers they do feign.
Well, do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical?
I do, truly, for thou swearest to me that thou art honest. Now, if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign.
Wouldst thou not have me honest?
No, truly, unless thou wert hard favored, for honesty coupled to beauty is to have honey a sauce to sugar.
Material fool.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods that make me honest.
Truly, and to cast away honesty upon a foul slut were to put good meat into an unclean dish.
I am not a slut. Do I thank the gods? I am foul.
Well, praised be the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter. But be it as it may be, I will marry thee. And to that end, I have been with Sir Oliver Martext, the vicar of the next village, who have promised to meet me in this place of the forest and to couple us.
I would fain see this meeting.
Will the gods give us joy!
Amen! A man, if he were of a faint heart, stagger in this attempt. For here we have no temple but the wood, no assembly but beasts. But what though? Courage. As horns are odious, they are necessary. It is said, many a man knows no end of his goods. Right. Many a man hath good horns, and knows no end of them. Well, that is the dowry of his wife. 'Tis none of his own getting. Horns, even so poor men alone. No, no, the noblest deer hath them as huge as the rascal. Is the single man therefore blessed? No, as a walled town is more worthier than a village, so is the forehead of a married man more honorable than the bare brow of a bachelor. And by how much defense is better than no skill, by so much is a horn more precious than to want. Here comes Sir Oliver Martext. Sir Oliver Martext, you are well met. Will you dispatch us here under this tree, or shall we go with you to your chapel?
Is it me?
No, it's Mary Lou, our Oliver Martext. I trying to unmute you. I'm just going to try one more time. Mary Lou, enter Sir Oliver Martext. Oh, well.
Here comes Sir Oliver. Sir Oliver Martext, you are well met. Will you dispatch us here under this tree, or shall we go with you to your chapel?
Is there none here to give the woman?
I will not take her on gift of any man.
Truly, she must be given, or the marriage is not lawful.
Proceed, proceed.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, now we can hear you. You want to say your last line again?
Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you, Mary Lou. So,
Okay, somehow I lost it. I'm so sorry. What happened when I needed to come on? So sorry.
well, just go ahead from, is there none here to give the woman? Let's just go start from there. Middle of page 77, your first
So
line.
where are we starting from?
Your first line, you've already entered. It's middle of
Okay.
page 77, is there none, or in our edition, but is there none here to give the woman is your first line.
Is there none here to give the woman?
I will not take her on gift of any man.
Truly, she must be given, or the marriage will be null.
Proceed, proceed. I'll give her.
Good even, good Mr. What you call it? How do you, sir? You are very well met. God yield you for your last company. I'm very glad to see you. Even a toy in hand here, sir. Nay, pray be covered.
Will you be married, Mockley?
As the ox hath his bow, sir, the horse his curb, and the falcon her bells, so man hath his desires, and as pigeon's bill, so wedcock would be nibbling.
And will you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? Get you to church and have a good priest that you can tell that can tell you what marriage is. This fellow will but join you together as they join wainscot. Then one of you will prove a shrunken panel and like green timber, warp.
I am not in the mind, but I were better to be married of him than of another, for he is not like to marry me well, and not being well married, it will be a good excuse for me hereafter to leave my wife.
Go thou with me and let me counsel thee.
Come, sweet Audrey, we must be married, or we must live in bawdry. Farewell, good Master Oliver, not, oh, sweet Oliver, oh, brave Oliver, leave me not behind. But wind away, be gone, I say, I will not to wedding with thee.
'Tis no matter, they're fantastical knave of them. All shall flaunt me, not of my calling.
Exeunt. Scena quarta. Enter Rosalind and Celia.
Never talk to me, I will weep.
You're muted, Celia.
Do I, prithee, but yet have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
That's good cause, as one would desire. Therefore, weep.
The very hair is of the dissembling color.
Something browner than Judas's. Marry, his kisses are Judas's own children.
His hair is of a good color.
An excellent color, your chestnut was ever the only color.
His kissing is as full of sanctity as the touch of holy breath.
He hath bought a pair of cast lips of Diana, and none of winter's sisterhood kisses are not more religiously. The very ice of chastity is in them.
Well, why did he swear he would come this morning and comes not?
Yea, certainly there is no truth in him.
You think so?
Yes, I think he is not a pick purse, nor a horse stealer. But for his verity in love, I do think him as concave as a covered goblet or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he's in, but I think he is not in.
You heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is. Besides, the oath of lover is no stronger than the word of a tapster. They are both the confirmer of false reckonings. He attends here in the forest on the Duke your father.
I met the Duke yesterday and had much question with him. He asked me of what parentage I was. I told him of as good as he, so he laughed and let me go. Well, what talk we of fathers when there's such a man as Orlando?
Oh, that's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely. Quite traverses athwart the heart of his lover. As a puny tilter he spurs his horse, but on one side breaks his staff like a noble goose. But all's brave that youth mounts and folly guides. Who comes here?
Enter Corin.
Mistress and master, you have oft inquired after the shepherd that complained of love, who you saw sitting by me on the turf, praising the proud disdainful shepherdess that was his mistress.
Well, and what of him?
If you will see a pageant truly played between the pale complexion of true love and the red glow of scorn and proud disdain, go hence a little, and I shall conduct you, if you will mark it.
Oh, come, let us remove. The sight of lovers feedeth those in love. And you shall say, I'll put a busy actor in their play.
Exeunt. Scena quinta. Enters Silvius and Phoebe.
Sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me. Do not, Phoebe. Say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. The common executioner, whose heart the accustomed sight of death makes hard, pulls not the axe upon the humbled neck, but first begs pardon. Will you sterner be than he that dies by bloody drops?
Enter Phoebe and Corin.
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tell'st me there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty, sure, and very probable, that eyes, that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on enemies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now I do frown on thee with all my heart, and if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Now counterfeit to swound. why now fall down? Or if thou canst not, oh, for shame, lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Scratch thee but with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. Lean upon a rush, the cicatrice and capable in pressure, thy palm some moment keeps. But now mine eyes, which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not. Nor I am sure there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Oh, dear Phoebe, if ever, as that ever may be near, you meet in some fresh cheek the power of fancy, then shall you know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come thou not near me. And when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks. Pity me not, as till that time I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you insult, exalt, and all at once over the wretched? What, that you have no beauty, it's by my faith. I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed. Must you therefore be proud and pitiless? Why, what means this? Why do you look on me? I see no more in you than in the ordinary of nature's cell work. That's my little wife. I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeballs, nor your cheek of cream that can attain my spirits to your worship. You, foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her like foggy south, puffing with wind and rain? You are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that makes the world full of ill-favored children. It's not her glass, but you that flatters her. And out of you, she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But mistress, know yourself. Down on your knees and thank heaven, fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell when you can. You are not for all markets. Buy the man mercy, love him, take his offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. So take her to thee, shepherd, fare you well.
Sweet youth, I pray thee chide a year together. I'd rather hear you chide than this man woo.
He's fallen in love with your foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger. So, as fast as she answers thee with frowning looks, I'll sauce her with bitter words. Why you look so upon me?
For no ill will, I bear you.
I pray you, do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. If you'll know my house, it's at the Tuft of Olives here hard by. You go, sister? Hard. Come, sister. Shepherdess, look on him better and be not proud. Though all the world could see, none could be so abused in sight as he. Come, to our flock.
Dead shepherd, now I find thy saw of might, who I loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe.
Huh? What sayst thou, Silvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Why, I am sorry for thee, gentle Silvius.
Wherever sorrow is, relief would be. If you do sorrow at my grief and love, by giving love your sorrow and my grief, we're both exterminated.
Thou hast my love. Is that not neighborly?
I would have you.
Why, that were covetousness. Silvius, the time was that I hated thee, and yet it is not that I bear thee love. But since thou canst talk of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I will endure. And I'll employ thee too, but do not look for further recompense than thine own gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such a poverty of grace that I shall think it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man, that the main harvest reaps. Loose now and then a scattered smile, and that I'll live upon.
Know'st thou the youth that spoke to me a while?
Not very well, but I have met him oft, and he hath bought the cottage and the bounds that the old harlot once was master of.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. 'Tis but a peevish boy. Yet he talks well. But what care I for words? Yet words do well when he that speaks them pleases those that hear. It is a pretty youth, not very pretty, but sure he's proud, and yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion, and faster than his tongue did make offense, the eye did heal it up. He's not very tall, yet for his years he's tall. His leg is but so, and yet 'tis well. There's a pretty redness in his lip, a little riper and a more lusty red than that mixed in his cheek. 'Twas just the difference betwixt the constant red and the mangled damask. There be some women, Silvius, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not. And yet I have more cause to hate him than to love him. For what had he to do to chide at me? He said mine eyes were black and my hair black, and now I remembered he scorned at me. I marvel why I answered not again. But that's all one. Omittance is not quittance. I'll write him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Silvius?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I will be bitter with him and passing short. Go with me, Silvius.
Exeunt. Actus quartus, scena prima. Enter Rosalind and Celia and Jaques.
I prithee, pretty youth, let me better acquainted with thee.
Hey, you are a melancholy fellow.
Oh, I am so. I do love it better than laughing.
Those that are in extremity of either are fellows. Betray themselves to every modern censure worse than drunkards.
Why, it is good to be sad and say nothing.
Why, then 'tis good to be a post.
I have neither the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musician's, which is fantastical, nor the courtier's, which is proud, nor the soldier's, which is ambitious, nor the lawyer's, which is politic, nor the lady's, which is nice, nor the lover's, which is all these, but it is a melancholy of mine own, compounded of many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry contemplation of my travels, in which by often rumination wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
Traveler, by my faith you have great reason to be sad. I fear you have sold your own lands to see other men's. Not to have seen much and to have nothing is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Yes, I have gained my experience.
Enter Orlando.
And your experience makes you sad? I'd rather have a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad, and to travail for it too.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Nay, then, God buy you, and you talk in blank verse.
Farewell, Monsieur Traveler. Look you lisp and wear strange suits. Disable all the benefits of your own country. Be out of love with your nativity, and almost thank God for making you that countenance you are, or I will scare you in a gondola. But how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You a lover? And you serve me such another trick? Never come in my sight more.
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise of love? He can divide a minute into 1,000 parts and break but a part of the 1,000th part of a minute in the affairs of love. It may be said of him that Cupid hath clapped him on the shoulder, but I'll warrant him heart whole.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, you be so tardy. Come no more in my sight. I had a sleepy wood of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, of a snail. For though he comes along slowly, he carries his house on his head. A better jointure, I think, than you make a woman. Besides, he brings his destiny with him.
What's that?
Why, horns. Such as you are fain to be beholding to your wives for, but he comes armed with his fortune and prevents the slander of his wife.
Virtue is no horn maker, and my Rosalind is virtuous.
And I am your Rosalind.
It pleases him to call you so, but he hath a Rosalind of a better leer than you.
Come, woo me, for now I am in a holiday humor and like enough to consent. What would you say to me now, and I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
Nay, you had better speak first, and when you were gravel for lack of matter, you might take occasion to kiss. Very good orators, when they are out, they will be dead. And for lovers lacking, God warn us, matter only a shift is to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
Then she puts you to entreaty, and there begins new matter.
Who could be out, being before his beloved mistress?
Marry, that should you if I were your mistress, or I should think my honesty ranker than my wit.
What, of my sweet?
Not out of your apparel, and yet out of your suit. Am I not your Rosalind?
I take some joy to say you are, because I would be talking of her.
Well, in her person, I say I will not have you.
Then in mine own person, I die.
No, Faith, die by burning. The poor woman is almost 6,000 years old, and in all this time there was not any man that died in his own person. Vita Lice, and a love cause. Phyllis had his brains dashed out with a Grecian club, yet he did what he could to die before, and he is one of the patterns of love. He would have lived many a fair year, though hero had turned none, if it had not been for a hot midsummer night. For, good youth, he went before to wash him in the Hellespont, and being taken with the cramp was drowned. And the foolish chroniclers of that age found it was hero of Cestus. These are all lies. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right Rosalind of this mind, for I protest her frown might kill me.
By this hand, it will not kill a fly. But come, now I will be your Rosalind in a more coming on disposition, and ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes, Faith, will I. Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
Aye, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Why then, can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister, you shall be the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. What do you say, sister?
Pray thee, marry us.
I cannot say the words.
You must begin. Will you, Orlando?
Go to. Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
Aye, but when?
Why now, as fast as she can marry us.
Then you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I might ask you for your commission, but I do take thee, Orlando, for my husband. There's a before the priest. Certainly a woman's thought runs before her actions.
So do all thoughts. They are winged.
Well, tell me, how long would you have her after you have possessed her?
Forever and a day.
Say a day without the ever. No, no, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are when they are maids, but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his hen, more clamorous than a parrot against rain, mangled than an ape, more giddy in my desires than a monkey. I will weep for nothing. Fountain. And I will do that when you are disposed to be merry. I will laugh like a hyena, and that when thou art inclined to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do so?
By my life, she will do as I did.
Oh, but she is wise.
Or else she could not have the wit to do this. The wiser, the waywarder. A woman's wit, and it will out at the casement. Shut that, and it will out at the keyhole. That will fly with the smoke out of the chimney.
A man that had a wife with such a wit, he might say, wit whether wilt.
Nay, you might keep that check for it till you met your wife's wit going to your neighbor's bed.
And what wit could wit have to excuse that?
Married, to say she came to seek you there. You shall never take her without her answer. unless you take her out her tongue. Well, that woman that cannot make her fault her husband's occasion, let her never nurse her child herself, for she will breed it like a fool.
For these 2 hours, Rosalind, I will leave thee.
Alas, dear love, I cannot lack thee 2 hours.
I must attend the Duke at dinner. By 2 o'clock, I will be with thee again.
Aye, go your ways, go your ways. I knew what you proved. My friends told me as much, and I thought no less. The Lord's won me. 'Tis but one cast away, and so come death. Back is your hour.
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
By my troth, and in good earnest, and so God mend me, and by all pretty oaths that are not dangerous, if you break one jot of your promise, or come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most worthy of her you call Rosalind, that may be chosen out of the band of the unfaithful. Therefore, beware my censure and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if thou wert indeed my Rosalind. So adieu.
Well, time is the old justice that examines all such offenders, and let time try. Adieu.
You have simply misused our sex in your love prate. We must have your doublet and hose plucked over your head, and show the world what the bird hath done to her own nest.
Oh, cuz, my pretty little cuz. But thou didst know how many fathom deep I am in love. It cannot be sounded. My affection hath an unknown bottom like the Bay of Portugal.
Or rather, bottomless, that as fast as you pour affection in, it runs out.
No, that same wicked bastard of Venus, that was begot of thought, conceived of spleen, and born of madness, that blind, rascally boy, that abuses everyone's eyes because his own are out. Let him be judged, how deep I am in love. I'll tell thee, Aliena, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'll go find a shadow and sigh till he come.
And I'll sleep.
Exeunt. Scena secunda. Enter Jaques and lords, foresters.
What is he that killed the deer?
Sir, was I.
Well, let's present him to the Duke like a Roman conqueror, and it would do well to set the deer's horns upon his head for a branch of victory. Have you no song, Forester, for this purpose?
Yes, sir.
Sing it, no matter how it be in tune, so it make noise enough.
What shall he have that killed the deer? His leather skin and horns to wear. And sing him home, the rest shall bear this burden. Take thou no scorn to wear the horn. It was a crest ere thou wast born. Thy father's father wore it, and thy father bore it. The horn, the lusty horn is not a thing to laugh to scorn.
Exeunt. Scena tertia. Enter Rosalind and Celia.
What say you now? Is it not past 2 o'clock? And here much Orlando.
I warrant you with pure love and troubled brain.
Enter Silvius.
He hath taken his bow and arrows, and is gone forth to sleep. Look who comes here.
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but as I guess by the stern brow and waspish action which she did use as she was writing of it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but a guiltless messenger.
Patience herself would startle at this letter and play the swaggerer. Bear this, bear all. I am not fair, that I lack manners. She is proud in that she could not love me, were men as rare as Phoenix. Besides my will, her love is not the hare that I do hunt. Why writes she so to me? Well, shepherd, well, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest. I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
Come, you are a fool. and turned into the extremity of love. I saw her hand. She has a leathern hand, a free stone-colored hand. I first didn't think that her old gloves were on, but 'twas her hands. It's a housewife's hand, but that's no matter. I say she never did invent this letter. This is a man's invention in his hand.
Sure, it is hers.
But 'tis a boisterous and a cruel style, a style for calendars. Why she treats me like Turk to Christian? Women's gentle brain cannot draw forth such giant, rude inventions, such Aethiop words, blacker in their effect than in their countenance. Do you hear the letter?
So please you, for I never heard it yet heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
To Phoebe's me, mark how the tyrant writes. Read, art thou God to shepherd turn, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this railing?
Read, when apart, force thou with a woman's heart? Did you ever hear such railing? Whilst the eye did woo me, that could do no vengeance to me, meeting me a beast. If the scorn of your bright eye have power to raise such love as mine, alack in me! What strange effect would they work in mild aspect? While as you chid me, I did love. How then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to me, thee, little knows this love in me. And by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this chiding?
Alas, poor shepherd.
Do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman? What to make thee an instrument and play false strains upon thee, not to be endured. Well, go your way to her, for I see love hath made thee a tame snake, and say this to her, that if she love me, I charge her to love thee. If she will not, I will never have her unless thou entreat for her. If you be a true lover hence, and not a word, for here comes more company.
Enter Oliver.
Good morrow, fair ladies. Pray you, if you know where the purlieus of this forest stands a sheepcote, fenced about with olive trees?
West of this place, down in the neighbor bottom, the ranks of osiers by the murmuring stream left on your right hand brings you to the place. But at this hour the house doth keep itself, there's none within.
If that and I may profit by a tongue, then should I know you by description. Such garments and such years. The boy is fair, of female favor, and bestows himself like a ripe sister, the woman low and browner than her brother. Are not you the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast, being asked, to say we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both, and to that youth he calls his Rosalind. He sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What makes me understand by this?
Some of my shame. If you will know of me what man I am, and how and why and where, this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you, tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return again. Within an hour, not pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet and bitter fancy, lo, what befell. He threw his eye aside, and mark what object did present itself. Under an old oak, whose boughs were mossed with age and high top, bold with dry antiquity, a wretched, ragged man, o'ergrown with hair, lay sleeping on his back. About his neck a green and gilded snake hath wreathed itself, who with her head nimble in threats approached the lining of his mouth, and suddenly seeing Orlando, it unlinked itself, and with indented glides did slip away into a bush, which under bush's shade a lioness, with udders all drawn dry, lay couching head on ground with cat-like watch, when that the sleeping man should stir. For 'tis the royal disposition of that beast to prey on nothing that doth seem as dead. This seen, Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I have heard him speak of that same brother, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived among men.
And well he might do so, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there, food to the sucked and hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back and propose so, but kindness, nobler ever than revenge, and nature stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which hurtling from miserable slumber, I awakened.
Are you his brother?
Was it you he rescued?
Was you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
Was I, but 'tis not I. I do not shame to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes, being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin?
By and by, when from the first to last betwixt us two tears our recountiments had most kindly bathed, as how I came into that desert place, I brief, he led me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love, who led me instantly unto his cave, where stripped himself, and here upon his arm the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled, and now he fainted, and cried in fainting upon Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story, that you might excuse his broken promise, and to give this napkin dyed in his blood unto the shepherd youth, that he in sport doth call his Rosalind.
Why, how now, Ganymede? Sweet Ganymede.
Many would swoon when they look on blood.
There's more in it. Cousin Ganymede.
Look, he recovers.
Would I were at home.
We'll lead you thither. I pray you will take him by the arm.
Be of good cheer, youth. You a man? You lack a man's heart.
If so, I confess it. Ah, Sarah, a body would think this was well counterfeited. Pray you tell your brother how well I counterfeited. I hope.
This was not counterfeit. There's too great testimony in your complexion that it was a passion of earnest.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Well then, take a good heart and counterfeit to be a man.
So I do. But of faith, I should have been a woman by right.
Come, you look paler and paler. Pray you draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
Well, that will I, for I must bear answer back how you excuse my brother. Rosalind?
I shall devise something, but I pray you commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go?
Exeunt. Actus quintus, scena prima. Enter clown and Audrey.
We shall find a time, Audrey. Patience, gentle Audrey.
Wait, the priest was good enough for all the old gentleman's saying.
A most wicked Sir Oliver, Audrey. A most vile Martext. But, Audrey, there is a youth here in the forest lays claim to you.
Oh, I know who 'tis. He hath no interest in me in the world. Here comes the man you mean.
Enter William.
It is meat and drink to me to see a clown. By my troth, we that have good wits have much to answer for. We shall be flouting, we cannot hold.
Good evening, Audrey.
God, you good evening, William.
Good evening to you, sir.
Good even, gentle friend. Cover thy head, cover thy head. Nay, prithee, be covered. How old are you, friend?
5 and 20, sir.
A ripe age. Is thy name Willem?
William, sir.
A fair name. Wast born in the forest here?
Aye, sir. I thank God.
Thank God. A good answer. Art rich?
Faith, sir, so-so.
So-so is good, very excellent good, and yet it is not. It is but so-so. Art thou wise?
Aye, sir. I have a pretty wit.
Why, thou sayest well. I do now remember a saying. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. The heathen philosopher, when he had a desire to eat a grape, would open his lips when he put it into his mouth, meaning thereby that grapes were made to eat and lips to open. You do love this maid?
I do, sir.
Give me your hand. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me. To have is to have, for it is a figure in rhetoric that drink, being poured out of a cup into a glass, by filling the one, doth empty the other. For all your writers do consent that ipsy is he. Now you are not ipsy, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He, sir, that must marry this woman. Therefore, you clown, abandon, which is in the vulgar, leave the society, which in the boorish is company, of this female, which in the common is woman, which together is, abandon the society of this female, or clown, thou perishest, or to thy better understanding diest, or to wit, I kill thee, make thee away, translate thy life into death, thy liberty into bondage. I will deal in poison with thee, or in bastinado, or in steel. I will bandy with thee in faction. I will overrun thee with policy. I will kill thee 150 ways. Therefore, tremble and depart.
I will. God rest you, merry sir.
Good, William.
Our master and mistress seeks you. Come away, away!
Trip Audrey, I attend.
Exeunt. Scena Secunda, enter Orlando and Oliver.
Is it possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her, but seeing you should love her, and loving woo, and wooing she should grant? And will you persevere to enjoy her?
Neither call the giddiness of it in question. The poverty of her, the small acquaintance, my sudden wooing, nor sudden consenting, but say with me, I love Aliena. Say with her that she loves me. Consent with both that we may enjoy each other. It shall be to your good, for my father's house and all the revenue that was old Sir Rowland's will I estate upon thee, and here live and die a shepherd.
Enter Rosalind.
And all contented followers. Go you, and prepare Eleanor, for look you, here comes Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister.
Oh, my dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scarf.
It is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to sound when he showed me your handkerchief? Oh, I know where you are. Nay, 'tis true. It was never anything so sudden but the sight of two rams, and Caesar's sonical brag of I came, saw, and overcome. For your brother and my sister no sooner met but they looked, no sooner looked but they loved, no sooner looked but sighed, no sooner sighed but they asked one another the reason, No sooner knew the reason, but they sought the remedy. And in these degrees have they made a pair of stairs to marriage, which they will climb incontinent, or else be incontinent before marriage. They are in the very wrath of love, and they will together. Loves cannot part them.
They shall be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duke to the nuptial. But oh, how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. By so much the more shall I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness. By how much I...
Why then tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind? I will weary you then no longer with idle talking. Know of me then, for now I speak to some purpose, that I know you are a gentleman of good conceit. I speak not this that you should bear a good opinion of my knowledge, and so much, I say, I know you are. Neither do I labor for a greater esteem that may in some little measure draw a belief from you. Do yourself good and not to grace me. Believe then, if you please, that I can do strange things. I have since I was 3 years old conversed with a magician, most profound in his art and yet not damnable. If you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries it out, when your brother marries Aliena, shall you marry her? I know into what straits of fortune she is driven, and it is not impossible to me, if it appear not inconvenient to you, to set her before your eyes tomorrow, humane as she is, and without any danger.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life I do, which I tender dearly, though I say I am a magician. Therefore put you in your best array, bid your friends, for if you will be married tomorrow you shall, and to Rosalind if you will.
Enter Silvius and Phoebe.
Look, here comes a lover of mine and a lover of hers.
Youth, you have done me much ungentleness to shew the letter that I writ to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. You are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him. Love him. He worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what it is to love.
It is to be all made of sighs and tears, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of faith and service, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of passion, and all made of wishes, all adoration, duty, and observance, all humbleness, all patience and impatience, all purity, all trial, all observance. And so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Why do you speak too? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor doth not hear.
Pray you no more of this. 'Tis like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I will help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow meet me all together. I will marry you if ever I marry woman, and I'll be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if ever I satisfy man, and you shall be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind meet, as you love Phoebe meet, if I love no woman I'll meet, so fare you well. I have left you commands.
I'll not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I. Exeunt. Scena tertia, enter Clown and Audrey.
Tomorrow is the joyful day, Audrey. Tomorrow will we be married.
I do desire it with all my heart, and I hope it is no dishonest desire to be a woman of the world. Here come two of the banished Duke's pages.
Enter two pages. Well met, honest gentlemen.
By my troth, well met. Come, sir, sit, and a song.
We are for you. Sit in the middle.
Shall we clap into it roundly without hulking or spitting, or saying we are hoarse, which are the only prologues to a bad voice?
In faith, and both in tune like two gypsies on a horse.
It was a lover and his lass, with a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no, that o'er the green cornfield did pass in the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing hey ding a ding ding. Sweet lovers love the spring, and therefore take the present time with a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no. For love is crowned with the prime in springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing hey ding a ding ding. Sweet lovers love the spring, between the acres of the rye, with a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no. His pretty country folks would lie in the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing hey ding a ding ding. Sweet lovers love the spring. This carol they began that hour, with a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no. How that a life was but a flower in the springtime, the only pretty ring time, where birds do sing hey ding a ding ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
Truly, young gentleman, though there was no great matter in the ditty, yet the note was very untunable.
You were deceived, sir. We kept time. We lost not our time.
By my troth, yes. I count it but time lost to hear such a foolish song. God buy you, and God mend your voices. Come, Audrey.
Exeunt. Scena quarta. Enter Duke Senior, Amyens, Jaques, Orlando, Oliver, Celia.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, that the boy can do all this that he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe, and sometimes do not. As those that fear they hope, and know they fear.
Enter Rosalind, Silvius, and Phoebe.
Patience once more whilst our car path is urged. You say, if I bring in your Rosalind, you will bestow her on Orlando here?
That would I, had I kingdoms to give with her.
And you say you will have her when I bring her?
That would I, were I of all kingdoms king.
You say you'll marry me if I be willing.
That will I, should I die the hour after.
But if you do refuse to marry me, you'll give yourself to this most faithful shepherd.
So is the bargain?
And you say you'll have Phoebe if she will.
Have her and death were but one thing.
I have promised to make all this matter even. Keep you your word, O Duke, to give your daughter, you yours, Orlando, to receive his daughter. Keep your word, Phoebe, that you'll marry me, or else refusing me to wed this shepherd. Keep you your word, Silvius, that you'll marry her if she refuse me, and from hence I go to make these doubts all even.
I do remember in the shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
My lord, the first time that I ever saw him, methought he was a brother to your daughter. But my good lord, this boy is forest born, and hath been tutored in the rudiments of many desperate studies by his uncle, whom he reports to be a great magician.
Enter Clown and Audrey.
There is sure another flood toward, and these couples are coming to the ark. Here comes a pair of very strange beasts, which in all tongues are called fools.
Salutations and greetings to you all.
Good my lord, bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman that I have so often met in the forest. He had been a courtier, he swears.
If any man doubt that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure. I have flattered a lady. I have been politic with my friend, smooth with mine enemy. I have undone 3 tailors. I have had 4 quarrels, and like to have fought one.
And how was that ta'en up?
Faith, we met and found the quarrel was upon the 7th cause.
How 7th cause? Could my lord like this fellow?
I like him well.
God yield you, sir. I desire you of the like. I press in here, sir, among the rest of the country copulatives, to swear and to forswear, according as marriage binds and blood breaks. A poor virgin, sir, an ill-favored thing, sir, but mine own. A poor humor of mine, sir, to take that which no man else will. Rich honesty dwells like a miser, sir, in a poorhouse, as your pearl in your foul oyster.
By my faith, he is very swift and sententious.
According to the fool's both, sir, and such dulcet diseases.
But for the 7th cause. How did you find the quarrel on the 7th cause?
Upon a lie 7 times removed. Bear your body more seeming, Audrey. As thus, sir, I did dislike the cut of a certain courtier's beard. He sent me word, if I said his beard was not well cut, he was in the mind it was. This is called the retort courteous. If I sent him word again it was not well cut, he would send me word he cut it to please himself. This is called the quip modest. If again it was not well cut, he disabled my judgment. This is called the reply churlish. If again it was not well cut, he would answer, I spake not true. This is called the reproof valiant. If again it was not well cut, he would say, I lie. This is called the counter-check quarrelsome. And so row lie circumstantial and the lie direct.
And how oft did you say his beard was not well cut?
I durst go no further than the lie circumstantial, nor he durst not give me the lie direct. And so we measured swords and parted.
Can you nominate in order now the degrees of the lie?
Oh, sir, we quarrel in print by the book, as you have books for good manners. I will name you the degrees. The first, the retort courteous. The second, the quip modest. The third, the reply churlish. The fourth, the reproof valiant. The fifth, the countercheck quarrelsome. The sixth, the lie with circumstance. The seventh, the lie direct. All these you may avoid but the lie direct, and you may avoid that too with an if. I knew when 7 justices could not take up a quarrel, but when the parties were met themselves, one of them thought but of an if, as if you said so, then I said so. And they shook hands and swore brothers. Your if is the only peacemaker. Much virtue in an if.
Is not this a rare fellow, my lord? He's as good at anything, and yet a fool.
He uses his folly like a stalking horse, and under the presentation of that he shoots his wit.
Enter Hymen, Rosalind, and Celia, still music.
Then is there mirth in heaven when earthly things make even atone together. Good Duke, receive thy daughter. Hymen from heaven brought her, yea, brought her hither, that thou mightst join her hand with his, whose heart within his bosom is.
To you I give myself, for I am yours. And to you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then, my love, adieu.
I'll have no father if you be not he. I'll have no husband if you be not he. There a woman if you be not she.
Peace ho, I bar confusion, 'tis I must make conclusion of these most strange events. Here's 8 that must take hands to join in Hymen's bands. If truth holds true contents, you and you, no cross shall part. You and you are heart in heart. You to his love must accord, or have a woman to your lord. You and you are sure together as the winter to foul weather. While as a wedlock hymns we sing, feed yourselves with questioning. That reason wonder may diminish, how thus we met and these things finish. Wedding is great, Juno's crown, oh blessed bond of board and bed. 'Tis Hymen peoples every town, high wedlock then be honored. Honor, high honor and renown, to Hymen God of every town.
Oh, my dear niece, welcome thou art to me. Even daughter welcome in no less degree.
I will not eat my word. Now thou art mine. Thy faith, my fancy, to thee doth combine.
Enter second brother. Let me have audience for a word or two. I am the second son of old Sir Roland that bring these tidings to this fair assembly. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, addressed a mighty power, which were on foot in his own conduct purposely to take his brother here and put him to the sword. And to the skirts of this wild wood he came, where, after meeting with an old religious man, after some question with him, was converted, both from his enterprise and from the world, his crown bequeathing to his banished brother, and all their lands restored to him again that were with him exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome, young man. Thou offeredest fairly to thy brother's wedding, to one his lands withheld, and to the other land itself at large, a potent dukedom. First in this forest let us do those ends that here were well begun and well begot, and after every of this happy number that have endured true days and nights with us, shall share the good of our return fortune according to the measures of these states. Meantime, forget this new fallen dignity and fall into our rustic revelry. Play music, and you brides and bridegrooms all with measure heaped in joy to the measures fall.
Sir, by your patience, if I heard you rightly, the Duke hath put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court?
He hath.
No, to him will I, out of these convertities, there is much matter to be heard and learned. You to your former honour, I bequeath your patience, and your virtue well deserves it. You to a love that your true faith doth merit. You to your land and love and great allies. You to a long and well-deserved bed. And you to wrangling, for thy loving voyage is but for 2 months victualled. So to your pleasures, I am for other than for dancing measures.
Stay, Jaques, stay.
To see no pastime, what would you have? I'll stay to know at your abandoned cave.
Proceed, proceed. We'll begin these rites as we do trust they'll end in true delights.
Epilogue with dance and then epilogue.
It is not the fashion to see the lady the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no bush, true, that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet to good wine they do use good bushes, and good plays prove the better by the help of good epilogue. What a case am I in then, that am neither a good epilogue, nor cannot insinuate with you on that behalf of a good play. I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg will not become thee. My way is to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as leisure. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women. As I perceive by your simpering, none of you hates them. That between you and the women, the play may please. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as have beards that please me, complexions that like me, and breasts that I defy not. And I am sure as many as have good beards or good faces or sweet breasts will for my kind offer when I make curtsy bid me farewell.
All right, thank you all. Yes, well done. Unmute all. Well done. Thank you all. Thank you very much, especially to Jennifer for your first for playmastering and doing it on Zoom. So thank you so much. Thank you to everybody bringing people from Texas to London together for this. And I don't know if we had any people further out west from here, but thank you all so much. I'm going to. Our remaining attendees, who I thank for staying through this. I'm going to promote them to panelists in case they have anything to say. And I think I've unmuted anybody. If people have any other sorts of thoughts they want to share, thank you all so much.
Can you unblock my video just so I can see myself later?
I will try and do that. Yes, I will unblock.
Oh, what about next week?
What about next week? Yes, that's a very good question. I haven't announced what we're doing next week yet, have I? Because
not yet.
don't know yet.
Whatever it is, Paul, count me in, all right?
Same here.
I'm here.
Great work, everybody. I love working with you. Great afternoon.
I did too.
Despite the technical problems there.
Yeah.
I fell off the moon there, my internet, man.
Yeah, sometimes it just gets rough to do it. I don't know why I can't.
Well, I salute you all. We got through it. It was awesome, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
I'm just trying my video. It says the host has blocked it. Has stopped my video.
Well, hold on. I just was doing that to. Okay, I'm unblocking you now.
Okay, there you go.
When you were out there, I have to turn it out, so I didn't get back in. But anyway, so yeah, thank you. Yeah, what do people think we should do next week?
A tragedy.
A tragedy.
Yeah, we've done a comedy
tragedy,
this
yeah.
week. Let's do a tragedy next week. And we did it. And last week we did a history. So we have.
So
to
yeah,
do
I guess we're
tragedy.
due for a tragedy.
We're due for tragedy, yes.
And also, a special thank you to all of our first timers here. Meg, it's great to see you again. We were in a show together, and if our other first timers, Shuli and Veronica, and well, Mira had already.
Sadie.
Yeah, and thank you all for doing this, and I hope you will do more of them. And so I don't know. Yeah, I guess we probably are due for a tragedy next week. And I don't know if you know. I mean, I'm trying to get more word out on this, and it's good to try and see what we can do to make these things work more easily. I thank Evan who's gone already about trying to have the shared screen to do it. And just we'll keep sort of working on things. And I'm also on Wednesday at 7:30. We're having a Zoom webinar specifically to sort of talk about why it's good to read Shakespeare, why it's fun to read Shakespeare together, even though we can't be physically together. It's still live because all of the sorts of things of people not making their entrances or their entrances being messed up in terms of coverage and all that. And
Paul, your Wednesday webinar, are you going to tape that? Because I can't make it to the actual live stream, but if you have it on video.
Yeah, I will tape that. I may, yeah, I'm going to do that. I don't know what, yeah, I think I see in the chat that Hyman is suggesting a Zoom tutorial. Yes, I think we can include that as part of it and try and sort of get things together so people can be more comfortable with Zoom. And especially, I mean, I commend Jennifer for getting such a big cast together, but then when you have a bigger cast, there's also more of a more
potential for things.
Yeah. Need to make sure everybody's a panelist.
Yeah. This one worked better with the muting video as well.
Yeah, I found
that's a large cast. You just got to keep our wits about you. My old problem with the other one is I'd mute myself when I wasn't on, and then I'd forget to unmute myself. Or
everybody, I do that sometimes. I forget.
I was going to make a suggestion though. If for me, my problem was that in order to go from the script back to the gallery, back to my script to unmute myself, it takes a second. So if we can unmute ourselves, at least if we know that we're at the beginning of a scene, to unmute ourselves at the ending of the last scene and unblock our video, because that's what kept holding me up.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start doing it my own self again. So,
Michael and I do this way. I use half screen. I resize the window. I use half screen.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I don't have to. No. Okay. I'm sorry.
Didn't work. It didn't. For some reason, I guess because I kept asking you to do it for me, Paul, and then when I tried to do it, I couldn't do it. So I guess next time I'll just be in charge of muting myself and doing my screen, and then I can undo it. Because if I let you do it, I think I have to wait for you to undo it.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it is. Yeah. And it's like I can't do it. And that when I do it to start video, you have to, it then sends a message.
Right. So I guess it's probably best if each individual actor gets to handle their own. I mean, I'm good at this because I know I've done it in other readings to mute myself, so I know how to do it now. But it's just getting back to the script in time.
reason to chat.
What you might want to do is practice during the
Yeah.
week.
So
Yeah.
On Saturday.
We also have to kind of set the Zoom time a little before the actual play starts.
Seminars during the
That's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that also one of the things about these webinars, it's like for panelists, if you use the panelist invite, you can get in earlier because I have to start broadcasting before attendees can come in, and then that I can promote to panelists. And
Why don't we invite the our attendees, our audience, to join us?
they have been so invited. That's what Lulu was telling us about her suggestions in terms of setting it up on screen. Because I mean, I do think that it is, even though we weren't able to do the thing of doing the shared screen, that if people can play around with Zoom in terms of having it on the same screen, that way you get your face, we get to see more of your face as opposed to when you're like looking down at a script sometimes. Or sometimes you hold the script.
Yeah.
Just
well,
on an iPad, just to the edge of the screen.
Hello, anybody hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Can somebody hear me?
We can
Am I being heard?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
I'm just checking my machine because my machine sometimes goes crazy with this mute and unmute. I go to unmute it and it doesn't happen. Then I go to mute it and it doesn't happen. And then all of a sudden it happens. So it's an old machine. It's a little sluggy.
Yeah.
You can hear me now.
Yes,
we can hear you.
Hey,
Yes,
Jen,
you can.
Paul, I
That's
gotta
all
take
I
off
want to
now,
do.
but
Okay.
take care. I'll see you next week, all right?
Okay, definitely.
Brian.
What do we do?
Take care, guys.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Brian.
It was fun. It was fun. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Thank you so much
Thank you for joining us.
and all of you newcomers. It's great, and we'll do some more, and I'll send out an email. And yeah, I think we will probably go with Titus. Julie, do you want to do Tamara?
I would love to.
Next Saturday? Are you good for that? Will that work for you?
That would be great.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll do some more things, but so far we're doing Titus Andronicus with Julie as Tamara and Brian as Aaron, and I'll be in touch with you about the rest of the cast.
I'd love to be involved with that as well.
Me too.
Me too.
I would love to.
Absolutely. Great. Excellent.
I'd love to do Chiron and Demetrius.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take whatever part.
But the most important one is to whoever doing the sound effects of the tongues being pulled out.
Oh, Angus, you want to do Titus since you did it, I think, several times in our past. Would you like to?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I will write to all of the rest of you and figure out what we can get you to do, and we'll do Titus next week. And then hopefully by then I will also have my schedule for the rest of the month. We're going to do, Michael is going to be doing Much Ado About Nothing. And not next week, but the week after that, we're also going to start having Thursday night readings. And Michael will be doing that. I also haven't scheduled a date for it yet, but I've been in touch with Dan Burkhardt to do Coriolanus. But every time the name Coriolanus is mentioned, instead of that, we're going to say coronavirus. The tragedy of coronavirus.
Yeah.
So I will announce that, and we will figure all of this out. So
Michael,
just so everybody knows, with the 5-hour time delay between London and New York, I really can't do any evening ones. This is about the only time I can do it.
I understand.
Yeah.
Michael, I'm interested.
I am too.
Michael,
Yes?
I'm interested.
In the Much Ado.
All right, thank you.
Yes, and on your Thursday evening thing.
Yeah, it's a Thursday evening. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Much ado.
Bye-bye.
I think I've done all the straight guys. When I was 26, I did Claudio. When I was about 36, I did Don Pedro. And then I did Hero's Old Man. And when I was 66.
Why don't you try Dogberry this time?
Well, I did the sexton when I was 15.
Wow. Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's going to be an evening reading.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Can't do it, I'm afraid.
Thank you, Angus.
Although,
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Have a great time again.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone is great.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to say good afternoon.
Through it all. Thanks, Jennifer. Thank you again. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, I'll email. I'm going to try and give these people, since people have expressed interest in Titus for next week. I will. You see, I've just got 3 of them so far, but we'll figure out the rest after that.
Okay, till then.
All righty.
Thanks, Tony.
Bye.
Thank you, Tony.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Eleanor.
Thank you.
Okay, and Verge is still there, and yeah, Jennifer. So thank you. Good job. Glad you went to do this and to get so many people together. It was
thank you.
Great. So
No, that surprised me too. But I mean, I started out by reaching out to a few specific people, and then just said, "Hey, we need people," and then people just fill them in as where they fit.
yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, we've got a lot of interest in it, and yeah, I mean, I don't know, we just have to maybe need to do a little sort of Zoom tutorial. Although it does seem like most people seem pretty resistant to the idea of having somebody else controlling their text for them. So maybe we just need to do a little more to get people to do it on the same thing. Because even I wasn't using it on the screen. I was reading a book because I just trying to keep track of it. And
I have a book from when I was in New York, so I use my book.
Great. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks. And yeah, so I guess and so you're for next week as well?
Sure, I'm in.
Great. Well, yeah, I'll figure stuff out and email you. Okay. And so it was, yeah, I'll check over the email and get all of the people who were, so it was Veronica who did Hyman, Shuli who did the
Age and the Second Lord, Shuli. Mira did the first, was the number 1.
Yeah.
Lost Rob at the beginning, I think, because for some reason we couldn't promote him to a panelist.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, yeah, I was doing that and trying to do it, and then by the time I got there, and then I'd also emailed him afterwards to see if he could come back. And I'm sorry about that, because I would love to have Rob in it. I will reach out to him about this as well.
Yeah, I mean, Michael, when I recruited him, when he expressed interest, he said he was available if we needed to double up. So when it turned out Rob was not available, I offered William to Michael, and he took it up.
Yeah, that was good. And that was fun. That is such a weird scene, though. I mean, it's like, because it's like all of the, I mean, because you just have this guy, Willem, come on. And Touchstone is like just so mean to him. The way I've seen it work effectively is that you have a Willem who is like just so huge that he sort of dwarfs Touchstone and could like beat the shit out of him if he even cared to. But he's like a
big dumb guy, really.
Stuff going on, and he just listens to what Audrey says. And when Audrey says go, which she didn't say today, he goes. So, but great. So yeah. And so think about other things you want to do, because I'm gonna keep doing it and all of that.
Okay. Well, I could do another tragedy or a history when we're ready to do it.
Okay, well, as I said,
let me know what play. I'll just do it from there.
All right, cool, yeah, because we have a bunch of things. So thank you, thanks so much. Thank you, and thank you, Lulu. Thank you for
Lulu
for attending and staying through. So
thank you, Jennifer. It was great, and thank you, Paul. I'm sorry, I always be your boss at the beginning. I have to make that. Save that link somewhere else, so I don't be such a burden to you.
It's okay. No problem. I didn't get a chance to email it to you. You found it, so that was great, and thanks so much for listening. And yeah, next week, Titus Andronicus.
Okay, Titus Andronicus next week.
Okay.
Thanks, Paul.
All right.
Bye.
Jennifer. Thanks, Lulu. And
Bye, Jennifer. Bye, Paul.
Bye, Lulu.
Bye, Lulu. Thank you. Thank you.